Good afternoon, members and officers. Can I welcome you to this Planning Committee meeting on the 18th of November. As always, I think we're all getting used to this now. A roll call, if I may, to see who's with us. I almost think we nearly have full attendance this afternoon, but as always, if you could say you're here when I go through your names, please. Councillor Orban.
Yeah, here, Chair.
Councillor Bayford.
Here, Chair.
Councillor Coleman-Cook.
Here, Chair.
Councillor Curry.
Here, Chair.
Councillor Dennis. I know he's not. Councillor Duckworth.
Here, Chair.
Councillor Garner.
I'm here, Chair.
Councillor Hart.
Here, Chair.
Councillor Keane.
Here, Chair.
Councillor Moore. Sorry, that's on my list still. Pat Moore is not with us now, obviously, nor is Councillor Rozeski. Councillor Scott. Councillor Taylor. Councillor Wright.
Here, Chair.
And obviously I am, and officers with us, Mr. Livingston. I see Annabelle. I'm not sure about Emma today.
No, it's just myself and Annabelle today, Chair.
Thank you, Ian. Suki, our officer, Democratic, and James. Right. Thank you very much, members. I think we all again know this off by heart now, but it's a part of the role to play. If you have any technical difficulties during the meeting, then please contact the Democratic Services Officer on call, who will attempt to assist you. That is James this afternoon, and his number is 577 200. If you have any problems, please get in touch with him. His name and the number should be up there. Thank you, James. It is. I also would ask that if you have your microphone, please on mute. This saves any noise in the background that can be picked up and help everybody else who is listening to the proceedings. Microphones must only be on if the participant has been granted permission to speak. To gain permission to speak, please very briefly indicate in the chat box on your right-hand side of the screen. I will then note and come back to you once the person speaking has finished. And as I've said, members, before I do see your names come up and I make a note, if I have missed you, please indicate and shout at me. Would everybody present please ensure their mobile phones are turned to silent and that they are not used to make or receive phone calls whilst the meeting is in progress. Please also refrain from checking emails or conducting other business and ensure that you are in a quiet room, free from distractions for the duration of the meeting. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed for members of the public, and the following meeting will then be available on the Council's YouTube channel once we finish. I don't have any members who aren't on the committee under 20.1 to speak this afternoon. If there are, could they please indicate there's silence? Thank you very much. So we have no members speaking under 20.1. Agenda item 1, apologies for absence. Now I've got apologies for Councillor Ruth Duckworth on here, but you're there, Ruth. I don't know why that is, but I do have apologies for Councillor Dennis. Are there any other apologies? No. Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Thank you. Approving the minutes of the meeting held on the 21st of October 2020 were approved at the previous meeting. There are no other minutes to be approved at this time. Agenda item 3, schedule of planning applications and public speaking. Again, once again, members' site visits, even more so, can't happen at this stage because of COVID. And I think we're all longing for things to get back to normal. The following applications have been reserved for public speaking, and that is agenda item 3B. So moving on to agenda item 3B, it's planning application to defer and delegate number 2 Cliffview Road, Ramsgate. I would ask our officer Suki, please, to read out a statement from a member, from a person who is in favour of this application. Thank you, Suki.
Thank you, Chair. This is a statement. Good evening, members. My name is Alistair Hume of Hume Planning Consultancy, and I'm speaking in support of this application at 2 Cliffview Road. The proposals are for the redevelopment of the existing bungalow to create 2 semi-detached 3-bedroom dwellings. I believe it is generally accepted that the current dwelling to be replaced is of a poor design and substandard internal layout, which is dilapidated and makes no positive contribution to the street scene. The proposal, I believe, will improve the look of the building whilst making more efficient use of a brownfield site within the settlement of Cliffs End, where development is both supported and encouraged by local and national planning policy. It is also relevant that we feel that following a reduction in scale, the living conditions of adjoining occupiers will also be safeguarded. Your officers also concur with this conclusion. Throughout the course of the application, the applicant has worked with the case officer to take account of their feedback and the comments of neighbours, which has resulted in significant amendments to the massing of the new dwellings, including the front gable element has been reduced to single storey so that the main ridge height has been lowered by 1.2 metres compared to that originally proposed. The built form has been pulled off the side boundaries by over 2 metres on both sides, which is more than double the distance that was originally proposed. The depth of the building footprint has been reduced by 1.5 metres to provide a back-to-back separation distance of over 30 metres with number 4 Fodes Hill to the rear. A total of 3 neighbour comments have been received on the application. 2 comments neither objected nor supported the application, but raised concerns over the massing of the development under the originally consulted scheme, which has now been reduced as explained earlier, as well as the impact of the new driveway on a telegraph pole located outside of the site on the public footway, which will remain unaffected as a result of the proposals. 1 objection has been received from the neighbour on the opposite side of the road, mentioning impact on daylight levels received and pollution levels from increased car traffic. Given the distance of separation and the minor nature of the proposal being a net gain of 1 dwelling, and the fact that environmental health have not raised any concerns, the application is considered to be acceptable in these aspects. Given that 1, the proposal will replace the existing dilapidated dwelling and will improve the appearance of the street scene. 2, the principle of development is supported by the development plan and MPPF. 3, the proposal is supported by the case officer and no objections have been raised by the statutory consultees. And 4, the development will be constructed to a high standard of energy and water efficiency to be secured by conditions 8 and 9. It is respectfully requested that members grant permission for this application in line with the officer's recommendation.
Thank you very much, Suki. Also just like to make a note that Councillor Taylor and Scott are now with us on the committee. Thank you both for letting me know. I will ask the planning officer now to outline the report, please. I believe that is Annabelle.
Yes, it is, Chair. I'll just.
Thank you, Annabelle.
Hopefully members can see my screen now.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. This is the application site outlined in red, with Canterbury Road West, running along the top of the slide here, and Cliffview Road running down here, and Fodes Hill on the right-hand side. So some aerial views of the application site and the surrounding area. The application site is here, number 2. This is Cliff House to the north, and number 4, Cliffview Road to the south. Another view of the application site, which is here. And sorry, bear with me. This is looking the other way of the application site. This is the rear garden of the site and the house that currently sits on the site there. And again, another view of the application site, which is here. Some photographs of the application site. So this is number 2, Cliffview Road. This is Cliff House, and we can see the garden of number 2 sloping down away from Canterbury Road West. This is the side garden of number 2, and this is number 4, Cliffview Road. This is a general sort of street view of Cliffview Road. So this is the application site here, number 4, Cliffview Road, and Cliff House sitting next to number 2. Just some photographs going into the site. So this is number 2 on the right-hand side, Cliff House, and we're going down, obviously, between the 2 properties here. This is the rear of the site, the application site. And we're moving across now, another view of the rear of the site and the boundary with number 4. This is the boundary with number 4, this fence you can see here, the application site, the existing property on the application site here. This is again, looking back at the existing property on the application site, and you can see the relationship between it and Cliff House joining it. And this again is looking from the rear of the application site to the existing bungalow. We have number 4 Cliffview Road on the left and Cliff House on the right. Sorry, excuse me. This is the existing block plan. So this is the bungalow here. It has a garage here. The side garden we saw in the photographs, and the rear garden wrapping round. Sorry, this is the proposed block plan. So you'd have a pair of semi-detached chalet bungalows sitting on the site as proposed. They'd have amenity space to the front and to the rear, and would each be served by a single parking space. So I'll just take you through some elevations of the existing bungalow. So this is the front. This is the proposed front elevation of the new properties proposed. So they'd be symmetrical. They'd have a gable feature facing onto the front. And you can see the 2 parking spaces that would be proposed to serve them. This is the existing rear elevation of the bungalow that we've just seen in the photographs. And this is the proposed rear elevation. We have the north side elevation of the existing, which faces Cliff House. And this is the south elevation that would currently faces number 4. And we have the proposed side elevations. So this would be the side elevation fronting Cliff House. And this would be facing number 4. And I don't know if members can see, but the notation for the windows within the dormer is actually to be obscure glaze. And when we look at the floor plans, you'll see they serve a bathroom. So this is the ground floor of the property as existing. And this is the ground floor of the proposed units. The front of the units is actually to the top of the slide. So you will see they actually have a bedroom on the ground floor, as well as living accommodation, kitchen, open plan living space, and study areas. And this is the first floor. These are the dormers that we've seen on the side. So they're obscure glaze and, as I say, serve bathrooms, and each property would have a further 2 bedrooms. We have the street scene as existing. So you can see the slope where it goes down from Canterbury Road West. This is Cliff House, the existing bungalow, and number 4. And the street scene as proposed on the bottom here, again, Cliff House. We have the 2 proposed chalet bungalows. They would be slightly taller than the existing property that's on the site, but they have been reduced and brought in from the sides as well, following members' concerns about the impact and scale of the proposed dwellings when they initially came in. So again, looking at the block plan of the site as proposed, it is considered, whilst there aren't many semi-detached properties in this part of Cliffview Road, the scale of the dwellings are not out of proportion with other dwellings within the street scene or the scale of other plots. So we do not consider there would be an adverse impact on the character and appearance excuse me, of the surrounding area. They would be served by a parking space each, and there is unrestricted parking, on-road parking along Cliffview Road and other surrounding roads. They would each have an area of amenity space. So it is considered on the whole that they would provide a good standard of accommodation for future residents. Subsequent to the amendments that have been made, it is considered there wouldn't be any impact on the residential amenity of surrounding occupiers from the proposed development. Again, it's highlighted the windows here and on the other dormer would be obscure glazed, and there is approximately 30 metres between the 2 properties proposed and number 4 to the rear. There has been an undertaking submitted subsequently to the agenda being published, which does secure the required SAM contribution, but this has not been reviewed in full. So the recommendation before members is still to defer and delegate it so that review of the undertaking can be formally submitted. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Annabelle. I move that the officer's recommendation is adopted. Could the Vice Chair please second?
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Coleman-Cook. Members, it's over to you. I have some names already. Councillor Alban.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Annabelle, for the presentation. Could you just advise me how much wider is this development than the existing bungalow, please?
Are
you okay to do?
I don't think I have the exact measurements in terms of wideness of it, but bear with me. No, I don't, unfortunately. But the proposed dwelling did sit closer to, probably in the same position with the garage attached to the north with Cliff House to the north. But there was obviously a larger side garden and gap between the southern boundary of and number 4.
So what we're talking about, 3 metres, something of that nature?
It would probably be about approximately that, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Alban. Councillor Keane.
Yeah, thank you. Just 2 questions. The first one, is there going to be any trees lost? Because I did notice some trees in the original pictures. So are they staying? And the second was just there was some kind of structure in the garden. Is that staying as well? Or was that just where they're living with their caravan at the moment?
In terms of the structures, I understand they are to be demolished. The caravan was only there. It's a touring caravan. I think it was just parked on site, and wouldn't generally. It's not being lived in any.
Oh, okay.
would be used to. It's just a touring caravan that the owners of the bungalow have. In terms of trees, I do understand that the trees are to be lost, but they are not protected by virtue of a tree preservation order or by virtue of being in a conservation area. I think the larger tree that we saw sort of sat just to the rear of where the proposed dwelling would go between. So I think that would have to be lost as part of the development, but it is not protected.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Garner.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Councillor Keane sort of hinted at what I wanted to ask about as well. Obviously, I understand, the trees aren't protected, so there's nothing much that can be done about that. My disappointment with looking at the pictures of what it's going to look like, it seems another new development of houses with a lot of concrete involved and not a lot of green. I can see there's a nice lawn out the back, but it's a lot of hard standing. And is there any sort of landscaping plan or commitment from the developer who's going to do this about what that green is going to be?
Annabelle, can you answer that?
Yes, Chair. Sorry, just turning the microphone on. Well, normally we wouldn't, excuse me, request a landscaping scheme for a development of this size, but there is, as shown in the block plan, and these are the plans we'll be approving, a garden area to the front of the development as well as the garden area to the rear. We wouldn't normally dictate, obviously, what they plant within a private garden, but it is anticipated that those green areas or garden areas would be come forward as part of the development.
Thank you. You happy with that, Councillor Garner?
Yeah, I just have a general problem, I think, with a lot of these new houses being built that just seem to have so much concrete out the front and quite a lot out the back as well. But
no, fair comment. Thank you very much. I don't see any other members wishing to speak on this application, so I'm now going to put this to you, which is the officer's recommendation to defer and delegate. And I think, members, you know how this works. Once again, if you're for the motion, please say for, or if you're against, or you're going to abstain. So once again, the roll call, starting with Councillor Coleman-Cook.
For.
Councillor Orban.
For.
Councillor Bayford.
For.
Councillor Curry. For. Councillor Duckworth.
For.
Councillor Garner.
against.
Councillor Hart.
For.
Councillor Keane.
For.
Councillor Rattigan.
For.
Councillor Scott.
For.
Councillor Taylor.
For.
Councillor Wright.
For.
Myself, I'm for it as well. That's virtually unanimous and carried. I will get confirmation from James, I'm sure.
Or from me, yes.
It is. Thank you very much. Thank you, James. I know I can add up, but I'd like to get it confirmed by yourself. Thank you, members. Well, that concludes public speaking for this meeting. I will call upon the clerk to read out the remaining planning application. If a member wishes to reserve this application, will they please call out as she reads? I think it's over to Katie, I believe.
Yeah. The only remaining item is agenda item 3A. That's 13 Linden Avenue, Broadstairs, Kent, CT10 1HR.
Thank you very much. Now, does
Yes,
anyone...
please.
Sorry?
Yes, please.
Councillor Garner?
Yeah. And I think Councillor Bayford was as well.
Yes, I did. Couldn't get the mic on.
Okay, I haven't got... okay. Righto, members. Right, this is down for, obviously, for approval. And I'm not sure who's doing this presentation. Is it yourself, Ian?
It's
No,
Annabelle, Chair.
Annabelle, again, you're doing well this afternoon, Annabelle, so I'm going to hand over to you.
I'll just present the screen. Sorry, apologies. Hopefully members can see the screen. So this is the application site outlined in red. It may be familiar to some members because it did come before members in a slightly different form earlier this year. I think it was May of this year. So this is number 13, the existing property, and we have Linden Avenue wrapping around here, and this is Crow Hill. So this is the application site in the middle of the screen here, and number 13, which is the existing property. Again, enough of you looking from Crow Hill. This is number 13, and the application site sits here. And this is from Linden Avenue. Number 13 runs across there, and this is the application site. Oh, sorry, we have enough of you again from Linden Avenue. This is number 13 and the wider application site. So I'll show you some quick photos of the site and the surrounding area. These photos are actually from May 2020. So I will show you these, and I will show you a couple of more up-to-date ones at the end. So this is in Linden Avenue, looking at number 13. This is number 13 on the left and number 15A adjacent to it. This is the end of number 13's wall, and we have number 11 Linden Avenue here. Now we've moved to Crow Hill. This is the application site here. You can see the roof of number 13, and this is number 28 Crow Hill and number 30 Crow Hill. Again, this is number 30 Crow Hill and the application site here. This is actually on the application site, and this is number 13. This is within, again, the application site, and we have, this is number 28 and number 26 Crow Hill. These are the more up-to-date photographs. In fact, they're actually taken today. So this is actually showing that the site is currently being worked on, and obviously they do have the benefit of the extant consent from May. And this is again a view. This is again a current photo from today, and this is from Crow Hill. Excuse me. So this was the site layout we've seen with number 13 here, Linden Avenue and Crow Hill running down here. This is the proposed site layout that we're considering today. So we have plots number 1 and 2 facing Linden Avenue, and plot 3 facing Crow Hill. Plot 1 is actually number 13, which is to be altered, but the existing property. Plots 2 and 3 are brand new, but as has been explained, and there's already an extant consent for the 3 dwellings on the site, and that's what we've seen being already built out. So again, this was the existing property that is being altered, and this is plot 2 and plot 3. So you can see the layout is pretty much what we're also considering today. It hasn't changed much in terms of the actual layout. I'll just quickly take you through some plans. So the existing front elevation of number 13 and the rear elevation of number 13 and the 2 side elevations of number 13 as they originally stood. This is the ground floor of number 13 as it stood and its roof plan. This is plot 1, and as I say, plot 1 is number 13 being altered. So this is the front elevation which would face Linden Avenue. The rear elevation and the 2 side elevations. So bear with me 2 seconds. In terms of plot 1, the only real difference other than minor design changes is that the roof height has increased by 0.1 metres against the approved scheme from May 2020. So this is the ground floor of the property that's being built out essentially now, and this is the first floor. Again, the number of bedrooms remain the same as the original consent for in May of this year, and this is a roof plan. Excuse me, of plot 1. Moving on to plot 2, this is the front elevation. Again, it faces Linden Avenue, the rear elevation, and the 2 side elevations. And in terms of this plot, the floor area has been increased by 13 square metres, and this increase in size extends the kitchen living area, and it has been also extended the southern side of the ground floor level by 2 metres. So this is the ground floor of the property is now being proposed, and as we've heard, there is that slight increase in the footprint, and we also have the first floor. Again, the bedroom numbers remain the same between what's now being proposed and what was approved in May of this year. And we have the roof plan of plot 2. This is the front elevation of plot 3, and this is the one that faces Crow Hill. The rear elevation and the 2 side elevations. And in terms of this one, there is no change in the overall height between that granted in May of this year, but the side projection has increased in height by 0.6 metres, and there is a very small increase in the overall footprint by approximately 1.7 square metres. And so we see the ground floor of this property, plot 3, and its first floor and its roof plan. So this is the block plan that we're now considering. Again, as I say, the properties are essentially in the same position. They have minor alterations too, and slight extensions in some instances. They retain their garden areas as proposed, and they also have parking spaces proposed. Officers consider that the alterations are acceptable and they don't have a significant impact on the character and appearance beyond that of the area, beyond that which was approved in 2020, or on the living conditions of neighbouring properties. And again, there would be no adverse impact in terms of highways because no additional bedrooms or significant increase in habitable space for any property is being created by this amended proposal. And in this instance, we do not have an undertaking for the SAM contribution because the SAM contribution has already been paid on the original application. So it is considered that that mitigation for the recreational pressure excuse me, has already been secured. So in this instance, the officer recommendation is for a straight approval of the proposal. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Annabelle. I move the officer's recommendation is adopted. I'm pleased with the Vice Chair second.
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you. And it's to you members once again. And start, if I may, with Councillor Hart.
Thank you, Chair. I remember this coming to the committee, actually, and I think quite a few of us were concerned about the overall overdevelopment of this site, if that is my general recollection of this one. And yet it comes to us again because they want to increase the footprint even more, which makes it even a greater footprint than it was before and even less recreational space. So I'm slightly perturbed by this, that somebody can put in a planning application and just increase the size of the property and still trample all over us. I just feel that a lot of us, I think, from recollection, objected to this in the first place. It was just too big, and now they're getting bigger. I'm not happy with it, to be fair.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hart. Councillor Garner.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I echo what Councillor Hart has said. In my view, there are three houses being crammed into this space, losing quite a lot of green area that was part of obviously the original house, more concreting over of driveways again, and I just think they've gone too far. So I can't support this.
Thank you, Councillor Bayford. Councillor Bayford.
Right. Sorry. Thank you, Chair. I concur with everything that Councillor Hart and Councillor Garner have said. When this development was approved in May, it was against the backdrop of overwhelming local objection. Despite the claim that the new proposed developments are minor, they will result in some increase to the bulk and scale of the buildings. It seems that residents find it hard to accept that within 6 months of being granted permission to build, the developer is proposing an even bigger development on what's already an extremely cramped site. So for those reasons, I am unable to support this application.
Thank you, Councillor Bayford. Councillor Orban.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just a question, please, to Annabelle. Why? Do you know why the developers have decided to, after they started building, to increase the size? And I wouldn't exactly say an increase in 2 metres on plot 2 is a slight increase. I think it's quite a large increase. So can you just advise why that they're undertaking this now?
No, I can't. It's obviously come in. I don't know the background as to why I wish to do it. I understand it may be a new owner who's maybe deal with it slightly differently.
Can I come back, Chair, please?
Yes, certainly, Councillor Orban.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, Chair, obviously the principle of development is there. They've got the consent. They've got an extant consent that they can build. So I'm going along with the rest of my council colleagues here. I just think, as I say, it is a step too far. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor.
Yes, following on from what Councillor Alban said, really, Annabelle, is it possible to see how the plans were before on plot 2? Because obviously you said that it's taken up no garden space, and how it is proposed to be now.
Yeah, bear with me. I'll go back to the.
Can you do that?
Just take a moment. Sorry. So this is the layout we're considering today, and obviously plot 2 is there, and this was the layout that was previously approved.
Can I stop you there, Annabelle? We're not on screen.
Yes, sorry, bear with me.
Push the buttons.
Yeah, sorry, forgot about that. So hopefully members can see it. Sorry, yes. This it's the layout that was approved on the previous application. So I think it was particularly plot 2 that was made reference to. So this is how it looked on the previous application that's been approved. Sorry, I'm going the wrong way now. And sorry, this is the application, the layout we're looking to consider today.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor, do you wish to come back?
No, I think most things have been said, actually. I'm not happy with this application.
No. Okay, Councillor Orban, you wish to come back on this?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point, Chair, and that is that as far as plot 1 is concerned, I don't consider that to be a problem whatsoever. 0.6 increase in the height is nothing. It is mainly plot 2 and partly plot 3, which are the issues, Chair, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now I don't see any other speakers. So once again, members, I'm going to put this to yourselves. I move that the motion of the officer's recommendation is to approve. I think you know how this works now. If I go through your names, If you're for, against, or abstain, please say so. Councillor Coleman Cook. Councillor Coleman Cook.
Sorry, we went totally blank there, Chair.
Did you?
I'm against.
Thank you. Councillor Orban.
Against.
Councillor Bayford.
Against.
Councillor Curry.
Against.
Councillor Duckworth.
Against.
Councillor Garner.
Against.
Councillor Hart.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Keane.
Against.
Councillor Raskin.
Against.
Councillor Scott.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Taylor.
Against, Chair.
Councillor Wright.
Against.
And I'm against as well. So obviously that has fallen. So can I come back on this one to Mr. Livingston, I presume?
Yes, absolutely. So the members have outlined the concerns again about the increase from the previous approval, and I think members have articulated very clearly that effectively the previous permission was almost considered the maximum that the development site could provide without impacting on the character and appearance of the area to a significant detriment. And therefore, I think if members were to move a motion effectively that the proposed development, and I think it's by virtue of the design and scale of the proposed dwellings at plots 2 and 3. Councillor Orban mentioned those specifically, and I think it's prudent given the fact that plot 1 isn't significantly changing at all from the previous approval, and also their proximity to each other would appear cramped and congested in the street scene, resulting in significant harm to the character and appearance of the area, and obviously not outweighed by the public benefits, because obviously that is something that I know members consider in terms of the benefit of providing these houses, but also with particular regard as well to the extant permission. But that would be contrary to QDO2, which is the policy of the local plan, which deals with the impact on character and appearance of the MPPF. Of the local plan. So that's the motion. So it'd be I think a refusal on the grounds of by virtue of the density and scale of plots 2 and 3, and their proximity to each other would result in a cramped and congested form of development, resulting in significant harm to the character and appearance of the area, contrary to QDO2. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ian. As usual, I need, if members are happy of what Mr. Livingston has stated there, the reasons for review, could I have a proposer, please?
I'll be happy to propose.
All at once, go on. Who was first?
Councillor Bayford, I think, was first, Chair.
Oh, thank you.
Fair enough.
And a seconder, please.
I'll second then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Garner. Well, once again, I will have to go through your names. If you're happy with that proposal from Mr. Livingston, we have a proposer and seconder. Councillor Coleman Cook.
For.
Councillor Orban.
For.
Councillor Bayford.
Sorry. For. Oh yes, for this. Sorry. For. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorting myself out. Beg your pardon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank you. Yes, I'll come back to you, Councillor Bayford. You're for?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So, Councillor Curry. For. Councillor Duckworth.
For.
Councillor Garner.
For.
Councillor Hart.
For, Chair.
Councillor Keane.
For.
Councillor Rattican.
For.
Councillor Scott.
For, Chair.
Councillor Taylor.
For.
Councillor Wright.
For.
And I am for as well. So that has been carried unanimously. So I'm just getting confirmation like I like to.
Yeah, that's unanimous.
Yes, thank you very much, Katie. Right, members, that does conclude our meeting today. I don't think I've missed anything out. I'm sure I'll be told if I have. Our next meeting is 2 weeks' time, which is on the 2nd of December. Wednesday the 2nd at the same time. Again, listen to our news and all the rest of it. Please stay safe, careful. Are you washing your hands, Councillor Orban?
I'm washing my hands of this committee chair only at the moment.
Thank
you. Fortnight.
Thank you, members, and thank you, officers. I don't think we've beat a world record on that one, but again, very interesting. Thank you, members.
Thank you.
Bye.